It's 7:30. Let's get started. Okay. I know we have a couple of minutes of introduction, so there is some time for folks to catch up. First of all, thanks to everyone. Welcome to this webinar. Thanks for joining us today, and on this session where we promise to be a kind of a really insightful conversation for the next probably 15 minutes. I'm Pradeep Kumar, CEO of AgileSpace Digital. I'm also the principal consultant here. Today I'm thrilled to kind of welcome my co-host for this session, Mohit Mohan, who has been a good friend of mine for past several years and a fellow MarTech leader. Okay, Mohit Mohan, over to you.
Thanks, Pradeep. Hello to everyone tuning in. Glad to be here with my good friend Pradeep. Mohit Mohan, I lead the marketing technology practice at Peloton Interactive. For those of you who are not aware of Peloton, we are market leaders in the connected fitness space. We sell connected fitness hardware, equipments, and instructor-led classes across US and Europe. Besides that, I'm also a product advisor for Sortment, a startup AI-led marketing automation platform. Pradeep and I have spent a lot of time thinking about the intersection of marketing and technology. And today, that intersection is dominated by one thing and one thing only, which is AI.
Absolutely, Mohit. It's hard to believe how quickly things are changing or things are moving with respect to AI. Just a couple of years ago, AI developments in AI was kind of felt like something from a science fiction, but now it is a reality, right? It is becoming kind of a very integral of everything that we are doing, and it has almost become like a kind of a survival thing, right? If you look at what kind of when we are researching about this, what is driving the AI adoption, right, at the rate at which it is growing, I think the key drivers is a kind of a greater efficiency that organization and individuals have been able to see with the application of AI, and then especially with marketing, it is the personalizations that is kind of, and they're able to drive personalization at scale, and then finally the predictions, they are able to much more accurate prediction that they're able to make with respect to the customer behavior. Now, with a kind of a recent study done by MarTech in for one of the organizations, it's found that 80% of the marketing leaders are now using AI in different formats. Okay, and they have kind of seen an uptick in conversion rates and better kind of an ROI when they have adapted the AI.
Yeah, the shift is real, right? The pace of change is much faster than the previous tech cycles. A pattern that used to take anywhere between 10 to 20 years is now happening in a span of 2 to 3 years. And especially, if you look at where things are shifting, task automation, creative content generation, content personalization, and real-time optimization. So these are like 4 areas where, I see a shift happening. And let's say, for example, even if, AI development stops today, right? We're still looking at anywhere between 5 to 7 years of rapid change, just absorbing current capabilities into organizations. But of course, we all know that, AI is not really, stopping, it just continues to evolve and expand, right? So, and that's where, it's reshaping the marketing strategy. Demand forecasting is, one of the key areas where AI is automating, to a greater efficiency compared to the traditional models. AI is able to generate and optimize content at scale, which not only leads to reduction in productivity, production times, but also not increases productivity, but also enables us to go to market faster. And then, of course, there is agentic and conversational AI, which is being used for customer support, dynamic pricing, behavioral personalization, somewhat micro moments, which kind of leads into hyper personalization.
Mohit, if you can you speak closer to the mic? I think that a slight high or kind of volume would be better. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, this is better. Thank you. Yeah, that's, I mean, it's kind of like, say, you summarize it well. I think that's why we are here today. where we'll be walking through some of the key transformation that AI is bringing in with respect to marketing, especially in this year, like say in 2025. Now we have taken kind of an inspirations and kind of an insights from some of the recent reports, especially AI in MarTech, HubSpot AI in marketing report. There are several others, okay, marketing reports that we have taken as an inspiration and insights, and kind of an come up with this format of conversational in nature, okay, where we are going to deep dive into these key aspects or key areas where AI is reshaping marketing, and then we'll see how this we will kind of from predictive intelligence to content creations to agentic AI, right? Those are the areas that we'll be kind of focusing on today.
Yeah, we've kind of structured this session into 5 areas, right? Aiming to cover anywhere between 4 to 5 minutes per session, and we'll leave some time for Q&A.
Yeah, yeah, right
All
then.
right.
Yeah, right then. I think we can dive into the first area, especially with respect to predictive intelligence. I would say Mohit, let's kick off in terms of understanding how AI is changing the game, right? How AI is changing the data game with respect to predictive analytics. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so uh, from a predictive intelligence standpoint, right, the journey often starts with data. AI is revolutionizing how we understand and use customer data. Predictive analytics are, currently being powered by deep learning. Is enabling brands to anticipate, customer behavior to a much greater precision than before. While predictive analytics and predictive intelligence always existed before AI, AI has just supercharged the overall implementation analysis of it.
Yeah, and if you look at it, it's more from a moving from a like a reactive approach to a very proactive approach. Instead of just looking at what customers did, okay, we can now kind of start predicting what might come next at a scale, right? I think that's where the predictive analytics is making kind of a much impact.
Yeah, it actually helps in orchestrating, smarter customer journeys, and optimizes conversion paths, right? So if you look at some of the work that, I'm doing with assortment as an advisor, we are focusing on AI-driven customer engagement, wherein, we are assisting marketers by generating a target audience and suggesting experiments based on historical user behavior, but also look at the micro moments in terms of what's currently happening, and based on that we are able to predict and share information in terms of what actions are leading to better conversion and what actions might lead to churn, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, this kind of an aligns very perfectly with my experience too. Kind of in my experience working with like kind of on Salesforce, Marketing Cloud, Braze, this customer engagement platform where leveraging data for audience segmentation and campaign strategy has been the key, right? Now with AI, it is just amplifying that overall effort, where we are now able to have the capability to do it more faster and more insightful, right? Means we can see through some of the conversion metrics that we see, where we have like a 35% kind of where Salesforce reported 35% on conversion rate when they use predictive intelligence. Previous slide, please. Yeah, yes. And then there is a kind of an care for example where they have observed 20% increase in basket size by predicting purchase propensity, and then especially the market itself, right? The market for predictive analytics is growing at a kind of a CAGR of 21.7%. It's kind of an year on year that is expected growth, right? So it's a market. I feel that the adoption of the predictive intelligence platforms and the kind of use in day-to-day marketing is going to increase from here on. Now that leverages means in terms of the examples, I could say in terms of the examples of two of the B2B and B2B scenarios where predictive intelligence has been used, kinds of success stories. There are two things stand out. Okay, the Gong AI example where they deploy the kind of they employ predictive analytics to analyze the sales calls, kind of to reduce the sales cycle, right? And then provide actionable insights, okay, on the sales strategies. What this kind of a combination of automation and then RAG AI models, okay, kind of an has significantly kind of an proven like 41% improvements in terms of cost, okay, and the overall efficiency. This is a very good example, and there's a lot of use cases available around it. And similarly, Starbucks, where they have adapted like kind of an predictive analytics to kind of to map that with the what's happening in the city with respect to events, with respect to weather, and thereby they are able to kind of provide more engaged, okay, content, and then personalized content with re-engagement strategies.
Let's look at some of the platforms, right? So while there are the big players in the market like the likes of Salesforce and Adobe, I want to touch upon the up and coming challenges, right? While some of these challenging platforms are not necessarily startups, the reason why we've kind of like classified them as startups is because they are kind of like putting a lot of effort in entering into the AI race when compared to the big players. So Sixth Sense is an example where it's a revenue AI platform for B2B marketing that uses intent signals and historical data, and it's predicting which accounts to target, when to engage with the members, and what sort of messaging works. Mad Cool is also offering a similar experience. High Touch is a great example of a reverse ETL tool and a data activation platform that is now expanding its capabilities into predictive modeling. It's doing churn analysis, likelihood of conversion. It's building lead scoring, and also it's using AI now to build audiences and even for identity resolution. So kind of like it bleeds into what I call as a composable CDP. And of course you also have Braze, which is a marketing automation platform, which is competing with the likes of Salesforce and Adobe. Has now started offering robust AI driven predictive analytics. But overall, right, what matters the most is the foundational data. You need to have clean and unified data. You have to invest in data assets. You have to be removing silos and ensuring that data flows are assigning clear accountability, which is really important, because without good data, right, AI really cannot do much of prediction, and anything that it does without quality data, it's pretty much a garbage.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't agree more. It is means overall, it is not about just a fancy AI models. Okay, it is about the clean data, structured data that acts as a fuel for fuel. Okay, for all of this predictive intelligence. Right now, once you have these insights, I think the next kind of an step is often like, say, how do you use this data, means kind of predictions, how to map with the content that you want to kind of deliver to your customers, right? Now in that space, generative AI is kind of making a lot of, I would say, transforming changes. What kind of with your experience working at enterprise organization, what kind of changes have you closely observed?
See, when when we think about people, right, they more often than not think of AI in marketing, mostly in terms of using generative AI, the stuff that helps us brainstorm ideas, write copy, fine tune creativity and code. And honestly, a lot of teams are already jumping onto it, right? A recent report from Gartner is suggesting that AI advancement shows anywhere between 70% of new application development in 2025 are using low code or no code technology, which is basically up from 25% in 2020. So that's a significant increase in terms of how AI is being used.
Yeah, that means, see, that even the recent survey data kind of shows the same kind of growth and numbers, right? When we look at the recent data where AI is predictive, especially generative AI is being used, I think the content ideation and copy production stands out, right? And especially that is also allowing the marketers to do A/B testing, rapid A/B testing, is iterate with multiple versions of the content. And then it is also reflected in the MarTech growth, where we have seen like around 27% expansion from 22 to 2024. Means it's pretty much like most of the platforms that we have today, right, are investing on the content abilities, AI content abilities.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone beyond basic text, right? If you look
Mm.
at the AI models today, they are producing high quality content at scale across various platforms and formats, right? Ad
Yeah,
copy, blog posts, social media updates. It has significantly reduced the production time, and it's allowing for rapid A/B testing and optimization in the world of marketing.
yeah, yeah. And the tools, like there are quite a few tools that's kind of an emerging in this space. uh, in the startup domain, there's Jasper, CopyEye, Midjourney that the marketers can play around with. And then in the enterprise level, obviously, there are this Adobe Fireflies, Google Notebook LLM, OpenAI, ChatGPT. Okay, everybody is familiar with that. I'm sure these kind of and these platforms are enabling startups, especially to automate content creation and blogspot at a scale. And that is where we have seen that kind of a major use in terms of the content, generative content. Yeah. AI. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
No, I just want to say, like, these tools are great. It's not here to replace anybody.
Uh,
So it's basically here to give marketers a boost,
mm,
and helping us come up with, ideation faster, explore aspects that, we may not have been able to explore, or giving it to an agency may take more time. So all of that is
mm,
kind of, significantly reduced with the likes of these tools, and you are now able to generate variations of content, variations
yeah.
of copy, and basically, optimize your testing strategies, right, with all these variations.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of an very reflective in the kind of a success, AI success content success stories we are seeing. Uh, I would like to kind of just highlight two of them. No, like as in our experience, we have seen this how email copy production is to take like probably a couple of weeks to months, okay, just to produce a content, get through all the kind of an approvals, legal and other stuff. Now, okay, with the generative AI content, now it is produced under a week, which is again kind of an like a high quality and then legally compliant kind of copies are being able to develop quickly. And this is one of the, I would say, examples like how AI could be assisting marketing marketers to a great extent. And there is another example by Coca-Cola, like one of the campaign they have used where they encourage their customers to, I would say, the consumers to kind of use these AI platforms to post kind of visuals like advertising creatives. Yeah. So that in that they have seen a kind of a 3x engagement, right? So you could use the tools are available. Okay, it's marketers and everybody should explore how to kind of make use of them to a greater extent. Yeah. I will leave the care.com and Panera Bread. They are kind of those examples also kind of are based out of generative AI.
Yeah, the biggest strategic takeaway for us, right, is use AI as a creative partner to accelerate testing. Stay
Mhm.
true to your brand and keep evolving, right, in this fast changing
Mm.
market. So that's kind of the takeaway for us, with these tools and AI led platforms.
Yeah. So that kind of with that I would say that brings into the next topic. Like say, okay, we have the predictive analytics, we have the content, right? Now how do I take out? How do we use that content? Take the content in the form of like conversational AI and through autonomous experience engine, right? What's kind of what you are seeing coming in this particular space?
Uh, Conversational AI is, kind of transforming customer engagement in general, right, by
Mm.
automating not just marketing activities but also support. Think of chatbots and virtual assistants, right? They are becoming more sophisticated today. They are, they're not just answering, simple FAQs, right? They're able
Mm.
to think through scenarios, they're able to reason, and they're able to provide a clear recommendation or answers to questions that are being posted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, see, they the adaption of conversational AI autonomous engine, I think they are impacting greatly in terms of operational efficiency, as well as like kind of an instant support, cost reduction, and all those areas where we have kind of an means there are several reports which kind of reports up to 25%, okay, in terms of the cost reduction, especially in terms of lead qualification, okay, and other activities, and also in terms of cost reduction up to 30%, right? There are a couple of there are a couple of examples that I would like to quote here. One with respect to, like, say, kind of, and there are several of them, like say Zendesk, Gong AI, and Drift. But most of them in the space of B2B, what we have seen, it's primarily driven to kind of an optimize their revenue and the lead generation process. Means this is around the sales. That is where we have seen the conversational AI being used. In the similar way, if you look at the B2C applications, right, it's been more on the custom experience, like what kind of an experience you can give when a customer is on the website, plus kind of an provide the product or bring the products, okay, that is more relevant for the customer. I think that is where the examples of KLM chatbots, H&M, kind of using AI chatbots to recommend products, and even the beauty kind of an retail businesses like L'Oreal and Sephora, okay, they use conversational AI and chatbots.
Yeah, especially with B2C, right? Retailers are also using AI-driven shopping assistants. It's more about providing instant automated interactions that can lead to not just like handling initial queries, but
Mm-hmm.
also they are able to guide customers throughout the buying life cycle, right? uh,
Mm-hmm.
while it's not fully autonomous yet, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where the tech is heading towards.
Mm-hmm. Means, but also it feels like when there is not fully autonomous, but it also feels like conversational layer is becoming kind of an increasingly becoming an important part of the customer journey. Like when the user is on your digital asset or a site, okay, the conversation AI is becoming integral part of it. And speaking of journeys, right, AI is kind of an profoundly changing how we personalize and every interaction at scale with our customers, right? Would you like to kind of touch deeper, kind of touch on this topic before we go further deep into this?
Yeah, there is a B2B use case that comes to my mind, where
Mm-hmm.
some of the small and medium, enterprises are using, frameworks,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily full-fledged AI engines, but there are frameworks that are available that can pretty
Mm-hmm.
much, automate, workflows and integrate, you know uh, AI agents into the overall process, wherein, like, a good example that comes to my mind is using voice AI
Mm-hmm.
or clear talk, where AI is making cold calls, it's qualifying the leads, moving them
Yeah.
through the life cycle funnels, and setting up even appointments. Tasks that are currently being done by SDRs are slowly getting handed to AI.
Mm-hmm.
And in many cases, what we are seeing is it's not just one AI doing all of this, right? It's multiple AI agents that come together to basically handle the overall workflow. Of course,
Yeah.
there always has to be some level of human intervention
Mm-hmm.
in order to make sure that everything is controlled, but otherwise, most of it is being handled by AI.
Yeah. So let's look at some of the platforms, right, in this particular space. There are like startup platforms like Lean, Amos, Freshworks, Synthesia, and then obviously the kind of an incumbent like some of the platforms that's been there in the market for some time, right? But the overall key takeaway out from this kind of an, I would say, conversation is autonomous agents and experience engines are becoming like a critical part of delivering real time, like personalized support, okay, to your customers or to your audience, okay. What the result has been like the kind of an enhanced customer satisfaction, while also saving significant time and cost. I think that's a key takeaway. If somebody is kind of deliberating whether they should go this road, I think they should seriously explore how to kind of implement conversation AI platforms. And that brings up to the next topic, Mohit, with respect to hyper personalization, personalized journeys, and recommendation engines. Now, I know, like, kind of given your background in the enterprise martech, I think this has been critical part of your work to enable marketers to do hyper personalized campaigns and journeys at scale. What's your take here?
Yeah, see, personalization, has always been, a significant goal
Mm-hmm.
in marketing for years, right? But with AI, it's leading us towards a hyper personalization reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's enabling us to connect browsing behavior, purchase history, social media interactions, device and location data, engagement, patterns like clicks, scrolls, opens, and then AI is able to basically use all of this data and predict what the user is most likely to do next,
Mm-hmm.
or how the user is going to respond at that moment, right? And
Yeah.
it is able to customize the overall experience according to those micro moments. It's not about segments anymore, right? It's about
Mm-hmm.
treating everyone like a VIP, right? And
Yeah.
for example, if you're looking at Amazon's sale, Amazon has attributed 35% of its sale towards AI recommendations. And AI and automation workflows using some of the frameworks that are out in the market are enabling marketers to implement one-to-one personalization at scale. And we are also looking at approximately anywhere between 25% to 30% in time and effort saving. Personally, if you ask me, right, in the last 3 years, what I've seen, is there are a lot of tasks that we used to do manually. All of that has been moved to hands-off keyboard approach, and then slowly, AI is also being introduced,
Mm-hmm.
as part of the overall recommendation process.
Okay. Means precisely, right? Like, personalized journeys have become kind of an heart of modern marketing. AI enabled kind of journeys, okay, kind of able to assisting with the dynamic pricing model, thereby impacting the overall, like the bottom line of the business, right? Means, in my experience working closely with some of the customers on Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Braze, Marigold, Engage, okay, what I've seen is with the creation of journeys, okay, the hyper personalized journeys have evolved, okay, and at a very kind of unprecedented rate. Means everybody kind of, and every customer is like want to include some part of, okay, AI driven content, AI driven personalization to the journeys, thereby able to orchestrate and make them kind of highly personalized to each one of them. One of the, I would say, widely known example or good example is a beauty products. Okay, between, like, say, we have seen this with one of the Indian brands like Nike, or it could be a global brand like L'Oreal. Okay, where they personalize the product that is there on the website to every individuals, right, on the site. Plus, they give a kind of an experience. They give a kind of an visuals where people can experience this product virtually, right? That kind of an experiences existed before, but these, they have become kind of a very seamless experience with the adoption of AI.
Yeah, and one of the other good examples is care.com, right?
Mm.
What we are seeing with care is, they're using a customer engagement platform called Iterable,
Mm-hmm.
wherein using AI and Iterable, they're able to basically optimize the channel and messaging,
Mhm.
ultimately leading to sending right message at the right time, at the right channel. While all of this sounds very familiar, because this is what we've been hearing for the last 10 years about, like, one-to-one personalization, sending
Mhm.
right message at the right time, and so on and so forth. I think basically, if you look at what AI is doing, is AI is doing two things. One, it's providing all these recommendations much faster.
Mhm.
Second thing is, from an overall automation standpoint, AI is able to basically enable you to go to market faster, right? So the overall
Yeah.
experience is becoming more and more seamless, and
Mhm.
less human intervention.
Yeah. See, with respect to platforms in this space, right? That some of the one I would say kind of on the platforms like High Touch, Sortment, Optimu. Okay, these platforms are, I would say, like kind of an challenging the incumbents in this particular space. I know like there's a huge difference or huge gap exists, but they are still kind of from a capability perspective, they are offering like a very agile, data driven personalization tools, okay, that is helping marketers build audiences with richer access to data, and thereby kind of an taking this deep personalization to the next level, right? I think I would we would recommend uh, any marketers to look at these platform as well and see how they are able to kind of use this platform, adapt this platform to take the personalizations to the next level. Means it basically with a personalization, right? It's more about to understand what is going to work or what is working, and then mostly kind of doing more of it so that we optimize continuously on the kind of personalized campaigns, personalized journeys, and so on. So
Yeah.
that's yeah.
In all of this, right, I think the most important thing is trust.
Mm,
So if you
yeah.
look at, like, all these platforms that are out there, right, what is important for marketers is, we have to give visibility
Mm-hmm.
into why the AI is recommending a specific action, or how it arrived at building, a set of audience, right, in order to build confidence. It's not just about providing optionality, or giving explanation, but also having access to high quality data, right? So it's all of these three has to come together. And that's where, if you look at what we are doing with Sortment, is pretty significant, right? Sortment is an AI driven marketing automation platform
Mm-hmm.
that is empowering marketers to deliver hyper personalized experience at scale.
Mm-hmm.
At its core, right, we have Row,
Mm-hmm.
which is a proprietary AI agent, built by the Sortment team.
Mm-hmm.
What AI does is, AI is able to, explain marketers as to, why a certain
Mm-hmm.
recommendation or an action was performed, and it's able to, give marketers behind the scene, right? While marketers can basically have a conversation with Row and able to, build recommendations or build audiences. But if the marketer, feels uncomfortable with, hey, what Row is, generating, they can actually go and see behind the scenes in terms of how Row went about building all of this. So that's the number one thing. Second thing,
Mm-hmm.
what Row does, it gives marketer very clear control, right?
Yeah.
While Row can make all these suggestions, it still puts the marketer in charge in terms of the action that needs to be taken, or any sort of adjustments that needs to be implemented, right? So it is imperative that AI needs to be both transparent and always needs to be under control in order for it to be
Mm,
successful.
yeah. I think that the visibility and the control will be a crucial point. Okay, especially when you are looking at scaling personalizations to a simultaneously for millions of customers, right? Yeah, and it is finally allowing, means these kind of platforms, the AI features with access to data, it's finally allowing the marketers to break free from manual segmenting or manually requesting for the data. Okay, and then kind of an independently play around with it, right? For hyper personalization campaigns. Um, Now, when we look at hyper personalization, then the next one of the area that I would say in the generative AI space that's kind of making a lot of discussion or bringing up a lot of discussion is the use of AI transforming generative engine optimization. like how AI is transforming generative engine optimization. Um, I would say like how what kind of what you have been hearing on this particular part. I know like you have some
See,
very interesting experience in this space.
yeah, with generative AI, right, the likes of GPT or
Mm,
Claude or
mm,
Gemini, it's kind of influencing, how people are now accessing content.
mm,
A new and fascinating discipline is emerging, which is called generative engine optimization, or we would like to call it GEO. Um, you know, you know very well that while it's still kind of like traditional SEO, um, but it's all about like how content is being rendered and shared by AI, and what sort of recommendation AI is able to provide based on the existing traditional methods of SEO. So while it's still evolving, right, we still have to figure out what's the best way all of this comes together.
mm,
And what I see is a massive shift in the behavior, right? Marketers are able to optimize not just for traditional rankings, but they'll also have
mhm,
to start thinking about how do I summarize my content, how do I summarize my uh, recommendations for the AI engines,
yeah.
and also make sure that we are staying true to the brand identity and true to the brand messaging, right? um, so it's going to be interesting because these AI systems are now becoming more of gatekeepers of the
Mm,
information, right? I think
yeah.
you would want to like touch on like the traditional methods that we've
Yeah,
seen in the
yeah, means
past,
that
right? Yeah.
yeah, in kind of if you look at traditional SEO methods, I think is being rewritten. AI generated responses are now embedded directly kind of and in search result. That's what you see, right? Like any kind of a search, Google or Bing, you can see that zero click searches means you search, you prompt for certain information, but you don't have to kind of click to find any more to find your results. It's there directly on the screen. And in the recent results, right, 60% of the Google searches are this way, right, where there is zero click, there are no click. Okay, so it is going to transform how the search are being kind of made today, and then how it is going to kind of evolve over the next few days, right? Now, you talk about the massive shift in the behavior. Now, I think you when we were discussing about this content, you brought up some, I would say, two interesting examples, like two comparison of how generative engine is playing a kind of a role in how people are using these AI engines to search for the information. Can you highlight those two examples?
Yeah, this was something that Pradeep and I have been discussing, in the last couple of weeks, because I have a lease that's coming up for renewal, so I'll have to change my car. 3 years ago, right, when I was doing the lease renewal, I would go to various websites, various dealership sites, look at like what sort of offers they are providing, and then go physically go there, understand how much money I have to spend, how and 9 out of 10 times, right, it's never a win-win strategy, because
Mhm.
the dealerships themselves have like all the information. Most of the information that's provided on the site are in the fine print.
Mm,
Nobody really has time to like read through the fine print to understand like what's MSRP versus what more hidden costs are getting added, right? So this time around, I was using OpenAI to basically, prompt my request in terms of like, all the dealerships, all the different brands, and so on and so forth. What I got out, in a matter of minutes was, a tabulated information that basically gave me a list of all dealerships in New Jersey,
mhm,
that basically talks about like, hey, a mid-range SUV, what's the
mm,
MSRP, what are all the hidden costs, and if you were to go and buy one, what is going to be the dollar amount that you're going to spend, and how different it is from dealership to dealership, right? Now with this
yeah.
information, right, you are better armed to have a meaningful conversation with your preferred dealer,
Mhm.
and able to get a better deal, right? Because you
Yeah.
have all this information handy. Now, at the same time, another example where we shouldn't blindly fall AI is, planning a holiday destination. A recent thing that came up where we were planning for a destination holiday, and interestingly AI was able to basically put together the entire itinerary for us in terms of
Hmm.
where we need to go, which hotel to stay, what restaurant to go and have food, which route to take, where there is going to be scenic drive would be possible, and so on and so forth. But in reality, when we started digging a little bit deeper into it, what we realized was, in some instances, the restaurant suggestions, the restaurants are no longer operational, hotels are booked out, there is construction going on these scenic drives. So we have to balance it. We can't simply take what AI is generating and just run with it, right? Many a
Hmm.
times it's just hallucinating, right? So we have to be mindful about where we use it and where we don't.
Hmm.
And there is always going to be some level of uh, our own thought process that needs to go into all of this, right? But at the end of the day, what it's all leading us towards is reducing the overall effort involved in doing all this, from weeks to basically minutes.
Yeah. Means that brings up an important point, right? Like in terms of the marketers and SEO professionals and specialists needs to look at SEO strategy from the AI, from the perspective of AI discoverability. It's no longer like a kind of playing around with the keywords. Instead it will be more looking at the overall quality of the content as well as the purpose of the content as well, right? uh, so that how you could be make it more or optimize it for featured snippets, like kind of, and when AI overviews that you can get today, like in terms of when during voice searches or normal text searches, the kind of an overview, and then the like then generative the conversational flow of the content. I think that is where the marketers and then the SEO specialist professions is to focus on. And to kind of to highlight some of the tools, right, in this particular space. Okay, kind of, and we are listed few of them in terms of the platforms that are assisting with the generating engine optimization. um, Certainly marketers and somebody interested in this space should explore them. Yeah. Mohit, I know like you also have been kind of an exploring or very close to how understanding understanding how geo is playing a role in terms of optimizing help documents as well, right?
Yeah, see, at a high level, right, I will just quickly touch on it. Internally, it's all about tagging, having clear headlines and taglines, and making sure that
Mm-hmm.
all these are AI ready, so that internal documentation within organizations are searchable, right, through AI, and AI is able to provide clear recommendations. And I think, considering time, we are going to quickly move on to the next section,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be agentic AI and autonomous AI.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a very sounds very interesting. At the same time, okay, it will also address some of the questions that we are seeing in our Q&A, in terms of what agents are going to, what the future looks like with the agentic AI revolution. Yeah.
Yeah, this topic really fascinates me because I've been playing a lot with it. And what agentic AI refers to is basically AI bots being autonomous. They are able to plan, execute, optimize marketing tasks with minimal human intervention. It kind of like fundamentally changes uh, the role for a marketer, or for anybody for that matter, right? Not just looking at it from a marketer's lens.
Mm.
You are no longer using a tool, right? You're kind of like managing a set of AI agents. It's like having either direct reports or an agency that you can delegate tasks to. This kind of
Mm.
leads to the first step, right, which is basically planning.
Yeah.
In order for it to be successful, right, you need to break down the overall process involved in the workflow, break it into manageable tasks, and use more than one AI agent, right? Always use an AI agent for a particular task. That way, for example, you can give you can have an agent for doing your creative work. There is another one for doing content, another one for doing
Mm-hmm.
campaign execution, and then finally, performance reporting, right? And the beauty about all of this is, from an optimization standpoint, the AI already has all your historical data, and then
Mm-hmm.
when you pair that with your campaign performance, right, then you are able to see results, and then you're able to fine tune the model, which is kind of an iterative process, right, that can lead
Yeah.
to better engagement and better results.
Yeah. means means we are increasingly hearing that autonomous agents can manage campaigns, analyze data, kind of, and fine tune strategies, all of that, right? I think the approach that you just laid out, I think, is crucial, okay, for that to kind of and to be realized on the ground, right? That is what I would summarize it. Like, say, they can handle tasks. We know, like, agents kind of an engaging or adapting agents saves a lot of time, but there is a kind of a framework or approach how you need to go about it. I think that's what you touched upon. Now, kind of, and there are many examples of agentic AI applications, autonomous agents. Okay, especially we wanted to highlight this kind of in the B2B space, where we are seeing the applications majorly in the kind of a space of the content creation, as well as the through the revenue and the lead generation, and through the revenue cycle in terms of lead qualification, lead management, and then CRM automation workflow. These examples are kind of becoming very, very popular, and then very quicker to adapt, and we can see a lot of use cases that is coming through. Especially there are a lot of discussion around NI10, right? So I know, like, you have been exploring NI10 kind of quite some time. What's your insight there?
Yeah, so basically, right, not only N8N, but generally, workflows, right?
Mm,
Anybody who wants to begin with AI automation, right? I would recommend, you all to look at,
mm,
begin with workflows, because going and building, AI models, can be somewhat of an intermediate to, a challenging experience. So, you better start with the workflows, because the workflows gives you opportunity to
mm,
play with what's already been built, and then from there you can scale it, you can build your own model. So there are four distinct layers. Can you go to the next slide? There are four distinct layers, right? One is,
mm,
you need to understand, LLM basically understands and generates content. Second thing is, the Gen AI applications create and innovate. Agentic workflows are here to coordinate and execute. And then,
mhm,
of course, AI agents autonomously decide and act
mm,
based on instructions and guardrails that you put in place. So most AI agent sounds very impressive, right? All of this looks great, right? Until
mm.
you actually, go and try out and see what is
That's a
possible and
reality,
what is
right?
not.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of clutter and a lot of
Mm,
unuseful information that's out there. So I would strongly recommend to go and try it out yourself, right? Because
mm,
uh, you know there is a process, there is a method to madness, right? First is to
yeah.
choose the right LLM.
Mm,
Nothing is going to work out of the box. Choose the right LLM which is able to understand and handle reasoning and provide consistent answers. Second is to design your agentic logic. You need to make sure that it's able to reflect before answering any questions. Third
yeah.
is to have a clear operating structure, right? That is, provide instructions, prompts, and controls. Add memory, because AI tends to forget a lot, so it is crucial for you to have memory so that it's able to chain all the conversation and provide summarization and recommendations, right? And then you will have to also connect it to tools and other APIs, like CRMs, database, for example, in order for it to provide proper recommendation,
Yeah.
or use that information to generate responses. And then the most important aspect in all of this is you have to give these AI agents specific tasks, right? Don't
Yeah.
overload an AI agent with multiple tasks. Create individual tasks for individual agents so that they all can chain together, right? And finally, what you will be able to do is scale your entire workflow with multiple
Mm,
agents, and that's how
yeah. And
you
and
build,
and you
like,
get the best
something
work.
that's closer
Okay.
to autonomy.
Yeah, and you get the best
Sorry.
work out of these
Yeah.
agents when you are very clear on the desired outcomes, right? And when you are able to send kind of a very specific instructions to them, I think that is where these AI agents can produce a very good results. Okay, but also kind of a, like when these agents can work autonomously, can perform certain actions and tasks, it also kind of touch the kind of bring out certain concerns around trust, alignment, and control, right? Well, these are a very good in terms of the low risk areas, okay, or with the startups. Like, what do you clearly seen kind of on the enterprise level adoption of these agents?
See, the thing is, right, the capabilities are really incredible, right? But we also have to acknowledge, all the challenges that are out there.
Mm-hmm.
Ethical consideration is paramount,
Mm-hmm.
particularly, when it comes to data privacy. AI biases, are relevant and, really exist out there. So organizations must be transparent about their data practices. They have to comply with, regulatory practices like GDPR and other regulatory audits and systems in order for it to curb the bias, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, right, nobody's going to trust you in terms of what you're implementing.
Yeah, means that's where kind of an with all this advancement, kind of, and it's going to be the future is going to be the future with AI is kind of something that we need to contemplate, right? Now, when we are discussing all of these agents and everything, I just wanted to quickly mention about one of the programs that we are co-hosting, or it's like a co-driving with 10x Profit Culture, which is primarily the objective is to help the founders, startup founders, and then kind of and tech startups with the GTM framework. Now, if anybody is interested in terms of kind of an how to kind of going about understanding a GTM strategy, kind of planning for it, and then having these kind of like GTM engines, what you saw with the kind of automated AI agents. If that is something that you are looking for, I would say go and check out the 10xprofitculture.com. You'll find all the details out there. Yeah, and you'll all have the program details there. Now, Mohit, like kind of we have covered a lot of areas uh, in terms of the section, in terms of how AI is kind of an uh, kind of reshaping marketing, how it is an imperative shift. Okay, the five key areas, especially from predictive analytics to generative content, conversational AI, hyper personalization, and then there is emerging areas of GO and then agentic AI. Uh, the key, I would say, is very clear, right? It is here. Okay, everyone needs to adapt it, and it is reshaping marketing, how we do marketing today. Okay, by enabling kind of a greater efficiency, driving innovation, driving personalized experience, and then marketers using them will have a competitive, or businesses adapting them will have a competitive edge in this particular landscape, right? Um, and these capabilities kind of are well incredible. There are some challenges to acknowledge, right?
Yeah, I mean, challenges are always going to be there, but I think, overall, I see like, it's fascinating, and uh, there shouldn't be any fear, right? Because
Mm.
at the end of the day, AI is here to, help marketers and everyone in general. You should be looking towards, to work with it and
Mm.
be future ready, right? So it's also, it's less about being a tool user, right? We should all be more strategic in terms of how we want to approach an overall problem and how we want to solve it. So your
Mhm.
focus and vision is going to be crucial in ensuring that AI optimizes towards the right outcome.
Yeah, means, see, that kind of an brings into the kind of an very close to the webinar. In the interest of time, Mohit, I would like to kind of conclude um, kind of an as a what is a piece of advice that we all can take, right, in terms of being able to upskill now, okay, kind of, and being very use to use AI platforms to experiment new formats, and then with all of these things, it's also key to stay human, right? We shouldn't be too kind of an automated, I would say, kind of an use empathetic approach in everything that we are doing today, right? Mohit, I know like you took time to join us on this webinar, okay, and you prepared us in terms of kind of advise us in terms of a lot of content that we have put together. Thank you for joining this conversation. We appreciate you spending time today, right? And yeah,
Yeah, and thanks for giving this opportunity, and thanks to everyone who are listening in, and with the conversation that I'm
yeah.
having with Pradeep. We appreciate you spending time with us.
Yeah, and that now leaves with a very small window for Q&A. Mohit, there is an interesting question on the Q&A from one of the member. Would you like to kind of address it? I think that would be a very relevant question for you.
Sorry, where can I see the question?
Yeah, is there in the Q&A section. Uh, it says, I can read out the question. AI system pose challenges in terms of how they process or store personal data without a proper permission, especially in banking space. How can banking thrive and adapt AI to maximize its marketing revenue?
I think it's crucial, for organizations to work with their compliance team, right? I think it
Mm,
really starts, with compliance in terms of what's allowed and what's not.
mm,
And also like using open-ended sources, or hosting
mhm,
in open source cloud is not really recommended.
mm,
Typically, in these scenarios, right, you are looking to host the entire application within your um, cloud services itself. It's a private network that you're hosting, so that pretty much all the data is secure within your own environment, and you're not basically like using OpenAI in its entirety to basically uh, search for data and use that data, because once you start using it, it's going to get exposed. So it's all about like using it within your organization in a private GCP kind of framework, and
mhm.
then being able to adapt to it.
Yeah,
And the most important thing is, of course, you need to put control mechanisms in place, so that you are not like overexposing information.
yeah. And there is one more question with respect to from the member who
Please.
say, will AI replace me one day? Now that this is a tricky question, right? So what we want to emphasize is uh, it's kind of it's imperative for everybody to work along with these tools, right? It is not going to replace, okay, I would say, but it will coexist. But somebody is able to learn how to coexist, how to use this platform for to enhance the efficiency and the effectiveness of the work. I think they are pretty much okay, kind of and safeguarded from the impact of what AI is going to bring in the next couple of months and days, right? Yeah,
So
and
here
there
is
is
what I would say, right? In the previous tech cycles, right? Uh, Most organizations, including me and Pradeep, as part of the previous agency work that we used to do, we always take a crawl, walk, and run approach.
mm,
You really cannot take that anymore. You have to run, and
run. Yeah.
if you're already not using AI tools, it's highly recommended that you start using them, uh, whether in your organization or personally yourself. Start playing with all these tools,
Mm,
get familiar with what's out in the market, and then start providing internal recommendations in terms of what activities or tasks that can be automated, right? You don't have to basically like use AI to do everything, right? But there are going to be low hanging fruits that you can target and say, hey, here are the simpler tasks that I'm going to use AI, and and help enhance my productivity, right? I think that will be a good start.
yeah. Means I know like in the interest of time, Mohit, I know like there is just 1 minute. We can take one more question. There is another question in terms of um, how are we utilizing AI in our new customer engagement where we don't have any historical data. See, my perspective on this is, I if you are starting fresh, there is no historical data. You should just get started as your kind of an historical data, and will build up over a period of time as the new customers start interacting with your kind of a digital asset, your products or services, right? That is the starting point. Okay, it will build over a period of time. Yeah. And then I know, like, in the interest of time, Mohit, do you have time for two more questions? You want to take it?
I'll
Then
have to drop, but I'm happy to take all these questions and provide responses,
yes.
later in the day if that works.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a few more questions that have come in. We will certainly kind of answer them over the course of next 1 or 2 days. Okay, everybody will kind of get an answer to it. Now, finally, Mohit, I want to kind of thank you, the entire team who made this webinar possible today. Chandan, Chaitra, and Rohan, they have been kind of integral part in terms of planning. Okay, watch out. They have been like, they're very helpful in terms of, okay, kind of setting up this webinar. Yeah, I think there is a feedback from one of the members. Thank you, Pradeep and Mohit. Great and insightful sessions. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that feedback. I think we will kind of come back, okay, with more insightful content and more insightful sessions in the coming days. Right. So with that, we need to call a wrap up for the session today. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you soon in the next edition. Okay. Thank you, Mohit. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pradeep. Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.